you are a very successful public relations executive, managing the careers of, wait for it, Oprah Winfrey, Bob Johnson, Sheila Johnson, and you are pretty much doing your thing. I'm laughing because I can't even imagine what it must be like to manage the career of Oprah and Bob Johnson. So here is my first question. It is not deep at all. What was it like to manage the career of Oprah Winfrey, to be involved in that public relations ascent?
So it was amazing. I enjoyed working. I worked for all three of them. And Oprah is about her business. She is a genius. She is an excellent entrepreneur. She's an excellent business person, a wonderful negotiator, and I learned a lot being there. So it was awesome. I tell people, be careful what you ask for. When you work with individuals like that, then your job absolutely is all about them, and to make sure that their life is easy and that you do the job that you're brought in to do.
That's such a rich answer, and there's so much in that I want to unpack. Not the least of which is, how did you get them to trust you?
Okay, so different for each person.
Let's go with Oprah, because I'm a talk show host. I want all the secrets. Come on, Topeka, we're going to get the secrets tonight, girl.
You know what? A quick story. I interviewed, that's a long story, but eventually I had an opportunity to interview at Harpo Productions. And when I got there, I ended up interviewing with about 7 people. And she was the last person that I sat down and talked to. And she asked me about my life and, you know, my background. At that time, I was working with Black Entertainment Television. And finally, she said, you know what? There are a lot of people that want this job. Why are you here? Like, how is it that you're sitting in this seat in front of me? And I said, because God wants me here. And she said, I'm going to make you an offer next week. So you go back to DC and you start getting your life in order, because you're going to be moving to Chicago. And she said, I know a lot of people may, you know, say things, but I'm telling you, I'm going to call you next week. And she did. And I knew sometimes, well, I always know that God is leading my life. He did lead me there. I didn't have any connections. I didn't know her. I didn't have the big hookup. But I believe in dreaming, and I believe in putting down and writing those things that you want for yourself. And I believe in dreaming big. And I wanted to work for her. So I started proclaiming that I'm going to work for her. I want to work for her. And I asked God to lead me there, and he did. And I was very truthful when she asked me, why are you here? Because God wants me here. And that is actually how I got to Chicago.
Well, what's amazing about that is it was the truth. Truth always works.
Yes, it does.
But the connection, though seemingly improbable, became likely because your truths lined up. That I don't know Oprah. I never met her, but that seems to be where she vibrates. That's where she lives her life. Yes. And I don't know if you knew it beforehand.
Yes,
but the connection, though seemingly improbable, became likely because your truths lined up. That I don't know Oprah. I never met her, but that seems to be where she vibrates. That's where she lives her life. Yes. And I don't know if you knew it before.
So I was the publicist for the show, her movies, the specials that she did with like Michael Jackson. And I also did community engagement. So when she would go and do speaking engagements to raise funds for abused women, then I was the liaison to work between Harpo and the nonprofit organization. So I did that for about 5 seasons.
Mm. You know, I marvel at this part of your life because again, most people working for Oprah, Bob Johnson, Sheila Johnson would be very content, you know, with that. That's you know, that's something to put on your resume. Hell, even your obituary in some cases. But here there was something brewing and stirring in you. Before I get to what that was, stay in this part of your life for me and tell me about a moment in your public relations executive part of your life, although you still do it.
Mhm.
Tell me about a moment in that part of your life that you will never forget.
When you say that part of my life, are you meaning working with Harpo?
Oprah. That's all I care about.
um, there are many moments. One moment was going to the Emmys. That was very exciting. I had never done anything like that, but you know, when you work with a talk show, you're hustling, you're grinding every day. The goal is to get great ratings, to get publicity, which was, I work with myself and another colleague, and the goal is to always hustle and get coverage and protect your client. And so it's wonderful to see hard work pay off. And
Yeah.
so we had an opportunity, or I had the opportunity to fly in with the team, be at the Emmys, and celebrate at the after party.
But
So
Robin, can I push you a little bit? Because
sure.
what I want for the audience to get is to have a snapshot of a moment in your time at Harpo with Oprah that affected you at the psychological, emotional, or spiritual level, where either you learned something or something was revealed to you. Because again, most of us will never get the opportunity to be that close to someone most of us admire. So can you tell me about one of those moments, a moment where you were in the room, a part of a conversation, and it just affected you and you will never forget that moment?
Oprah's a very spiritual person. And so we had an opportunity to connect those who wanted to review this book called, I think it was The Seat of the Soul.
Mm-hmm.
And it really was about identifying who you are and being your authentic self and walking through the world fearlessly. And so what was special about that is that our group would meet on a regular, and we would talk, and we actually together went to her home for a weekend. And it was just a weekend of sharing and being safe enough to share some of the insecurities that you have, because it really
Yeah.
is in about being vulnerable.
Yeah.
So I don't know if a lot of people have an opportunity to have that kind of moment with their boss, but with their boss and others, it was a great opportunity to share and grow and be vulnerable.
Well, I'll see you on point and raise you a point. Most people don't have the opportunity to work in that kind of culture where that's valued and celebrated and encouraged. Most people work in a very result-oriented, product-driven culture, but just produce, and your soul be damned, your mental health, who cares about it? So that's the thing I think even more so than working around or working with is just being in that kind of culture.